A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
Butterball knows Thanksgiving can bring so much joy, but also so many cooking questions. What size turkey? What's the best way to roast? How do I carve it? Don't panic. Butterball is here to help. Just give us a ring at the Butterball Turkey Talk line. We'll help with what's on the table so you can focus on those around it. Call 1-800-BUTTERBALL or text 844-877-3456 to reach our turkey experts. Butterball. Today, we turkey.
Ask me, ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer, you ask me. I'll tell you anything.
Check, baby, 1, 2, 3.
Check, baby, 1, 2, 3. Okay. We can leave those checks.
Really?
Check, baby, check.
Oh, boy.
We don't have the rights. Let's sing Keep It Precise. Oh, now you don't want to sing the song? This is what marriage is, folks. Keep it precise. Keep it. Come on, sing the song.
Sometimes there are things that I thought were between us, and then somebody comes up to me who I don't know and tells me something that I thought you only said to me.
Oh, well, the Keep It Precise song, now everyone's going to know, but that's just ours.
Yes, we keep that just for us.
We keep it precise.
Keep it precise.
That's the sound of my husband, Smokey Husky. You guys sent in so many questions that we're going to have to do this in 2 parts. And they're all really good questions. It's not like, what that dick like? Like, they're all thoughtful and sweet. And I was very touched.
I was actually hoping you'd answer that question.
What that dick like? It's
Okay.
I was going to say something nice.
Go ahead.
About your penis. Hi, Mom. We got a lot of questions. We're going to get right to them. People are very excited. You are a chef. Confirmed or deny?
Confirmed.
What? Why hesitate? Like, why even the Like, that's what you do.
I try to make sure I'm fully processing every question.
I know, and it drives me crazy. I'll be like, do you want a cookie? Just do it. Just say it.
And it's like, if I don't answer fast enough, then no answer is valid.
And then what do I say? Rest of your life's going to be like this, buddy. Hop along. Hop along, Susan. Haley GL 103. Nope, that's a 1.
Does it help anyone to read the username? Are people going to look that person up?
No.
It's just for the person to know that it was a question.
What's letting people know they're true?
That's a real low percentage of audience happiness.
Oh, welcome back to Kvetch Chat. I'm your husband.
I just feel like podcasts so often it's just somebody
all right, save it for the open
slowly
mic.
trying to read the name of a username.
Haley G 103.
30% of the material. All right, go ahead.
As a chef, what is the worst thing a customer can do to piss you off? Also, I love you guys. It's a broad question, and we're going to get more micro with these, but it doesn't have to be the worst, just something. I can answer for you.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
I don't know if there's a single worst thing. I think I'm always sort of baffled by people who are never happy and keep coming back.
But you married one.
Yes. But it's like, if all you do is complain, then why do you keep coming here? It's like, this is not the answer to your question, but restaurant people love getting together and telling stories about weird things that customers did, especially anytime you've been into business for a long time and somebody asks for something or does something you've never seen before. It's always kind of amazing.
Do you want to tell the...
Oh, do you know all my stories now?
Well, I even marked down where I thought your stories would go in here. We just realized this last weekend that we're at the place where we've heard each other's stories and we know everything that one's going to say. You could have any side.
We've been together for 6 months.
Well, you don't hold it because you'll answer this for a question.
Okay.
So you didn't really answer her question. That was
I was saying repeat
Just something-
customers who keep coming back and doing the same thing over and over again. The one that really pisses me off is people who are doing stuff very specifically to try to get free stuff.
Ooh.
Like you're not fulfilling the social contract of a restaurant. You're coming in trying to scam us. Like that stuff. So those infuriate me. It's the same thing with like people, who come in, like lawyers who come in with someone in a wheelchair.
Don't get me started on lawyers who show up trying to sue people.
Yeah,
and
it's a big thing, and especially in California, where they'll come through with like measuring tapes and rulers, and they'll come in and say, "Okay, well, this table is a half an inch taller than the required height for someone in a wheelchair." And then they just go from restaurant to restaurant, just suing you to make money, suing different restaurants.
Right,
to make
they're not
money.
actually trying to make it. They have no concern for the actual person in the wheelchair. It's just you, and you get no warning. It's like, well, you're fucked now. Here's hundreds of $1,000s in legal fees.
And it can literally be a half an inch. Like
Yeah.
it's not an actual. So that kind of stuff.
People that take advantage like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the questions. Samantha _Marie_95. Do you have a favorite junk food or guilty pleasure food that you know is just awful, but you still enjoy it?
You might have an answer better than me about what my answer is.
I
I don't
believe-
have necessarily a junk food, but I have a weird
He does have a weird thing.
that I love that I don't know why I can eat so much of it, but it's just hearts of palm, like out of the
Canned?
can, out of the jar. Like I almost want to drink the citric acid water sitting in it. It's high fiber, low calorie, and I
Probably
just
not
love
great for the planet.
it. Better than it used to be, but
Okay. I knew you were going to say hearts of palm. I don't believe in guilty pleasures, like eat the thing. You can feel a little bit bad, but I don't like, oh, chocolate. Oh, I shouldn't. Oh, I can eat a lot of popcorn.
Yes, you can. Trying to eat popcorn with you is impossible because your hand lives in the bowl and it only leaves the bowl for a brief moment to put popcorn in your mouth and then it's back in the bowl, just rustling around slowly.
like a tarantula.
Yeah.
I know this answer too. As I was reading these questions, I was like, oh wow, I'm really married now. Savannah Jancy. Is there a food that you associate with your childhood? Love you, Iliza.
Yes.
I know what it is.
What is it?
Wagon wheel turkey pasta.
I mean, just pasta in general. My mom.
The answer to all of your questions
Italian.
is pasta.
Yeah, I could, if it was magically good for me, I could eat pasta 3 meals a day for the rest of my life and probably not really ever get sick of it.
There you go. There's so many different shapes.
I mean, honestly, I could eat spaghetti marinara.
What's your favorite pasta name?
Oh, you thinking of Strongozzi?
Strangozzi.
Strongozzi is a good one.
What's it mean?
If I remember correctly, I think that means priest stranglers.
Emily.phillips.81. Do you find it challenging to deal with everyone's dietary restrictions and food allergies? As someone with an allergy, I'd like to hear what I can do to make situations easier on restaurants and their staff when I go out to eat. Emoji.
From a restaurant standpoint, it's not that hard. I mean, it depends on the kind of restaurant you have. If you're like a multi-course fancy restaurant tasting menu, it's a lot more involved. If you're coming to our barbecue restaurant, like we just only have a few options for you, if whatever
Right.
your dietary restrictions are. I think it's more frustrating from a like dinner party home cooking standpoint, where I feel like I've talked to friends and colleagues about this, where it's like it didn't seem like it happened that much 10 years ago, and now if you have a dinner party, you have to like send out a group email getting everyone's dietary restrictions and then try to calculate a way to throw a dinner party that is satisfying
Doesn't
for
offend
everyone.
everyone.
Doesn't offend everyone, is satisfying for everybody, isn't a nightmare for you in the kitchen. And I could go on a whole rant about, not even a rant, just tips about the best way to sort of plan what you're going to cook for dinner for people coming over that is going to allow you to have a good time and not be stressed out about it.
Well, I think there's also, there's a dietary restriction and then there's a preference. Like, I'd prefer not to eat pork. If there's bacon in something, I can always take the bacon out. If I ate a piece of it, that's okay. I think framing it in the context of, like, this is what I prefer. So you eat around it. Like, that's on you if it's something you'd prefer not. But, like, you told me the thing about people saying that they have a specific allergy and...
Or the one that gets me is, like, when people say, like, I'm celiac, which is a real serious genuine condition, and then you have to do all this work to make sure that nothing touches that.
Tell them what they do,
that
because
food. So you have to switch out the cutting
the kitchen
boards.
takes it very seriously.
Yeah, because that's like it's a real, actual medical condition. And so you have to move everything around. You have to change over the cutting boards. You have to sanitize everything over. It basically stops the kitchen to do that. And then at the end of the meal, they go, I'll have the chocolate cake. I can cheat sometimes. And it's like, no, that's not celiac.
Right.
That's just you wanting to not get a weird eye for saying I'm gluten sensitive, which, if you choose to be sensitive to something, you are.
Ooh. Yeah, what did your dad say something about that?
Oh, no, there was a study that was done.
By the way, he's not saying it doesn't exist. He's not saying it doesn't exist. He's saying if you're choosing it, then you are.
Yeah, I think psychosomatic things are real. If you're incredibly worried about something affecting you a certain way, if you think that milk is going to make your stomach turn sour, it'll turn sour. It might turn sour before you drink it. There was a study, and I wish I knew how to pull it up or link to it, but they basically took a bunch of people who were all gluten sensitive, like self-proclaimed gluten sensitive. And they did a double blind. Some of them had gluten, some of them didn't. No one knew whether the food they had gluten in it or not. And the result of the test is everyone's stomachs hurt, whether they had gluten or not.
Fall has fallen. Winter is on its way. The days are shorter. But just because, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Iliza50 and use code Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Iliza50 at factormeals.com/Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active.
The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only, exclusions apply. See site for details. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Iliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Iliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Iliza. Diener, 1983. If not a chef, what career path would you have followed otherwise?
I mean, that's an easy one. It's what I kind of always had wanted to do and still love doing and do in passing on the side, which is writing. Writing was the first love. It's what sort of got me down the food path in the first place. And I still get to do it sometimes.
What's the weirdest special request you've had a guest at the restaurant ask?
There's a couple of good ones. These are both at Bloodso's, our barbecue restaurant. They weren't done to me personally, but they were through staff members who were friends of mine at the restaurant. One was it's a sports bar and there's TVs up and everything, and a person looked behind the server and said, "Oh, you guys have pizza? I'll get a pepperoni pizza." And then she turned around and looked back to the customer and said, "Sir, that's an ad for Domino's." So that one was great.
It was great.
My friend Tad had a customer once who tried to sell back the half rack of ribs he didn't eat to the restaurant, which is not legal.
It's like that Chris Rock bit. Give you one gum. Yeah, definitely not legal. He _ Johanna. If you could change one thing about American food culture, what would it be? That's a good one.
I mean, it's an incredibly complicated question.
So great job, Johanna.
I think, and to me, a lot of the issues that come about have to do with sort of like industrial complex issues and tied into farm subsidy stuff. And it's like everything is so tied together. But, you know, you go to these sort of food deserts and you go to certain parts of the country where...
What's a food desert?
Food deserts are parts of the country that don't have access to a lot of the same ingredients everyone else does. They don't have access to as much fresh produce, and you end up with very, very, very few options. And again, it's a very complicated question, but being able to have better access to better things in more affordable ways, like, you know, the fact that, you know, a McDonald's cheeseburger, as I think at various points, is cheaper than buying an apple it makes the decision making easier for people to have less healthy lives.
So you're talking access to affordable, nutritious food, sustainable food. I think that sustainability becomes something that's only for the rich. Like if you have money, then you can afford to look down on people. Not look down on people, but you can afford to eat only the sustainable source or the ethically sourced one.
And it's complicated too, because if you want to eat locally, but you live in a certain part of the country with a certain climate. If you live in Alaska and you only want to eat locally in the dead of winter, like you're eating like an old potato. Like that's
right.
It. So yeah, those are the kind of things that I would like to do. I would like to make
accessible and more affordable.
Better ingredients that are more accessible and more affordable. And
it's so sad. You
how
said
to do that is really, really
better
really
ingredients. And I was like, better pizza, Papa John's. Welcome to America. Clean your plates. Kit Kat rib. As a chef, when you go out to eat, are there certain things to look out for to indicate a restaurant's cleanliness and therefore their food quality? How do you decide if it's worth eating there or not? Oh, tell them the food rating thing, won't you?
The food
like
rating?
An A.
Oh, health department ratings are, I mean, sure, they're generally a good guideline to look at, but they are really, I mean, the things that you get dinged for points are really all over the place. And also, every health inspector focuses on different things and has different things that they care about. So it is not necessarily indication of how clean your food is. And there's a lot of stuff that you're allowed to do that is disgusting, and other
like
stuff
what?
that you're not allowed to do that is totally fine. You know, like some of those like you know, commercial sanitizing, like vegetable washing solutions and things like that. Those things kind of creep me out. You know, the way that how long you're able to hold meats and things like that in certain aspects.
Like hold?
Like holding at a temperature.
Uh-oh.
So like you think about like if you're making
Like
barbecue.
cradle the beef.
Well, a lot of times, you know, the thing that you would do that Americans have done for generations to make the best version of something. Like if you make barbecue, you want to hold it ideally like wrapped in butcher paper in like a thermos for a few hours to rest and do these certain things. But a health inspector wants you to keep it at a certain temperature that is less good for the quality of your food and better for this sort of fear of liability
Being sued.
thing. Yeah,
I think so much in our country in general, but food in particular and safety is it's less about, oh, we hope people are okay, and more like we're just trying not to get sued. You go to Europe, sandwiches are just out. They're in a glass case that's not temperature controlled. Food is out. It's on counters. Tapas are just sitting there. And here, everything is like sterilized, stunned, ice bath plunged, wrapped in plastic in a freezer.
pasteurized, overcooked.
And we're all
stuff.
fat and sick.
The way that I would cook a chicken breast at home is technically under the required temperature by like what you were told to cook chicken to.
Right.
And so, it's complicated. Some health harm people are great and they give you tips about certain things and ways they want you to do stuff. Some people will ding you for other stuff. And it's kind of dumb luck and a little bit random. The joke in like, when you go to eat great Chinese food in America is like, A is Americanized, and like a C rating is like real Chinese food.
Beret 10. What are some absolute must-have staple items in your home and or restaurant kitchens? Let's go home, because a restaurant kitchen, probably salt, pepper.
Yeah. At home, for me, those, I was kind of raised to believe that you should always be able to cook pasta for 10 people who show up for no reason.
To feed a small invading army.
Or just a small family of Italians. So canned tomatoes are a big, big one for me. Dried and canned beans, cannellini beans are a big one. Garlic I always have on hand. Chili flakes. Lentils are a big part of my diet.
He eats a lot of lentils.
I love having lentils around. So yeah.
No, I eat a lot of lentils.
Yeah, lentils, rice, beans, pasta, canned tomatoes, garlic.
Not much. Just some rice, beans. I read where the crawdads sing, and even though the girl's really poor, the food that she eats, you would pay like top dollar for. It's like, I don't have much, just there's something in the bathroom. Just steamed mussels, oysters, cold fried chicken, blackberry pie, hot biscuits, soda crackers, steamed cobbler, cold lamb sandwich.
We've been doing this bit
grits.
nonstop for 4 days.
He'll just say, I don't have much, and then I'll just list off the tastiest things that a poor person in the South would have eaten that are very expensive.
Or I'll try to do it. I'll get through 2 items, and then Iliza sighs at how slow my brain is, and then takes over, and I just get to watch and laugh.
Steamed grits, hot biscuits, steamed biscuits, fresh grits, little shrimp. I'm gonna sound like Bubba Gump. Where'd it go? Oh, this is about me. Elizabeth Elliott. Is Iliza always on? Is the perfect dorky girl we see how she... Dorky? Whatever. See how she is 24/7? Does she kiss you as much as she kisses animals? People always expect chefs to eat gourmet meals all the time. Do you make 5-star meals all the time, or do you eat mac and cheese and ramen because they're easy? Wow, she slipped a couple questions in there. What you see is what you get, folks.
She's definitely not always on.
I don't think I'm always on anyway.
No.
On an Instagram post for that 30 seconds, yes. I choose to entertain consistently, but I don't ever feel the need to be,
Yeah.
What?
And then in terms of do we cook 5-star meals at home? No, I tend to do a lot of kind of like balancing out style cooking. So like based on if we're traveling and you're eating all these cool restaurants, then like I will cook really kind of light, healthy, nutritious stuff at home. And we tend to cook mostly vegetarian at home for the most part.
I don't cook.
That's true.
Do I kiss you as much as I kiss animals?
No. Well,
I
now.
kiss Blanche a lot.
Yeah, now
because there's no animals.
Yeah, now I get more. But and I think I've taken over some of the weird grabbing and poking that Blanche used to take.
Oh, she took it for the team.
We make a similar face.
Just kind of this distant stare, like when's it going to be done? Sarah.Garibaldi. What's your favorite memory of you and Iliza? By the way, love the podcast. You're so funny and honest. It's very unique. Never lose it. Thank you. She didn't call me a dork. You got a favorite of you and Iliza, not just of me.
Yeah.
You got a favorite one?
I mean,
I got
there's
a good
so
one.
many. I mean, our first night out is a great one.
Well, let's combine it because I'm in hassle for 20. Says Smokey Husky. At what moment did you know Iliza was the one? You knew 5 minutes into the date, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to temper a little bit, but I definitely, I knew pretty fast. It was basically just me waiting to see what the first possible moment was that I could ask her to marry me without her saying no. And I think I did it just about in time.
I feel like one of my favorite memories, I mean, I loved our first date, which we can get into, but you were doing a job for Walmart. You were opening up a restaurant in Bedford, Texas. And it was kind of in the middle of nowhere. And you were there for months and months and months. Like you had to miss Thanksgiving and you were unhappy. Like you're staying.
And we were on opposite schedules.
Hadn't seen each other.
I would fly out Monday morning. You'd be getting home Monday afternoon. I'd leave Friday night and come back Friday night and you'd already be gone. Yeah,
so we weren't seeing each other. But on top of it, you were not enjoying the work you were doing. And I flew in for a couple days during Christmas. And you picked me up at DFW. And the hotel where you were staying was close.
Drove the wrong way on the freeway.
Drove the wrong way on the freeway. He almost blew a gasket. He almost had an aneurysm, just in his eye. And Smokey Husky's really good at finding special restaurants, hidden places. Like if you want to eat Tex-Mex in the middle of Alaska, he will find you the perfect place. And you found, at the time we were eating a lot of sushi. We have since stopped, because our dog died while we were in Tokyo, but also because sustainability. You found in the middle of this old part of Fort Worth that's kind of up and coming, but pretty quiet, this little izakaya.
Shinjuku
Station. And you found that, and we only had a couple hours together, and it was so cold, and neither of us were dressed for it. And we went inside, and the street was dead quiet in the middle of Fort Worth on a random night in December. And you and I had this lovely Japanese meal that we would have had back in LA. And we were I think the only people in the restaurant. And I just remember the stillness of the street outside and how warm and lovely it was inside. And then we braved into the cold. And then we both went back to our lives separately, but we had that one little warm night together. And that was very special.
It was.
Because it was so us. And you knew it. Moral just sweetie. If I love something like a sauce and I live in Europe, which is a long plane trip away from any restaurant in the US, would it be terribly wrong to ask for the recipe? Even just the ingredients used? I know some dishes are super secret, but I just want to know a tiny part of it so I can experiment in my own kitchen, as I will probably never have the opportunity to go to that same restaurant again.
Yeah, you can definitely
She says,
ask.
I feel like the answer is no, but you're yeah.
I mean, they may not give it to you, but why not ask?
Yeah, it's flattering.
Yeah,
you're not asking to steal it.
The hard part is actually trying to recreate something in another country. You realize how subtly different every single ingredient is. I helped open a barbecue restaurant in a casino in Australia, and just trying to make barbecue sauce, and the vinegar's different, the spices are all different. You kind of end up having to redo everything from scratch because you can't make two things taste the same with different ingredients.
Amaranth wise, I mean, that's even the wood is different there that you're using to smoke it.
The meat's different. The way they butcher the animals is different. We had to go and teach the processing facility how to trim a American style pork rib.
Yeah, I mean, even New York to LA, they're the water's different. So can you imagine oceans away how much different? The only consistency you're going to get is with Coca-Cola, and even that. And Mexico and the U.S. are different. Amaranth wise, how happy is he to no longer have to eat tarantulas and such for tasted?
That was a super fun little, for those who don't know, and why would you, I randomly got hired years and years ago to host a YouTube web show for this now defunct YouTube channel. And it was super fun. Everyone there was great. I got to just pop in and make stupid jokes and stand in front of a green screen with people I liked. And it was...
Can they still watch it?
Yeah, they're all still up there. There's some old YouTube videos and
for tasted.
Yeah, and some cooking stuff that I did. It was a lot of fun. It was a different time.
A different time years ago. Somebody else had a question in here about rustic as fuck, but now I can't find it. But you could talk about that for a second.
That was the cooking show.
Oh, here it is. Dookie222. Why won't he do any more YouTube shows like Rustic as Fuck?
I would love to. They're super fun. Rustic as Fuck was it was sort of a running joke of what we called the cooking show. And it was really, the idea around it was me trying to get people who don't typically cook that much to kind of demystify the cooking process and teach people how to cook without using recipes. And it was great. I loved it. People would write in and send me stuff that they made and from our kind of videos. And it was a ton of fun. If anybody wants me to keep doing it, build me a studio and give me money. I just don't want to actually have to shoot and edit and do all that stuff myself, because hosting is super fun, but I'm not an internet show producer.
Tell you what, both those shows are going to get a spike in viewership after this. Smokey Husky and I are sitting here in Verona, New York, which is near Syracuse, and we're looking outside. We're in a casino because I have a gig tonight, and it is snowing, and we're both just mesmerized at seeing a season other than fire.
Yeah, tomorrow we fly home to LA where it's supposed to be 87 degrees.
If we could just have 5 minutes of this snow, it would solve all the fire problems. Ikism, 1228. Ikism, 1228. How do you maintain a happy marriage when Iliza's traveling and you two don't get as much time together?
My divorced friends would argue that Iliza traveling is how we maintain a happy marriage.
I don't, yeah, that might not be it.
And it's not, I mean, it's, if she's shooting a show or she's on a European tour and she's gone for a month, like that sucks. But, 2 days at the end of a week is not the end of the world. And
it's also the way that we started dating. Like it was already like this.
And we both,
when I met you.
We met in our 30s. We weren't like 20-year-olds who fell in love and like couldn't figure out what to do being alone. We both loved our lives and were very happy being alone before we met each other.
Speak for yourself.
I just like being with her more than being alone. But when she's out of town, I get to cook pasta and watch a movie and go to bed at 9:45.
Yeah, I guess I do that too. I've grown to enjoy my quiet time more, but I think it's one where together makes it much more special. I think sometimes it takes a couple of days to recalibrate. And I'm like, who is this man? Get off me.
Especially if it's too long. Like 4 or 5 weeks that's brutal. But a couple days is no big deal.
Yeah, we're okay. Twomley, why? What's the grossest, most shameful combination of late night foods you two have eaten together? Oh, I know. And I wouldn't call it gross, but I would say it was too indulgent. We were in Tokyo. We went for sushi.
Oh, yeah.
This was a couple of years ago. And sushi is one of those things where like you eat a lot of it, but not unlike Chinese food. You're always like, I could eat a little bit more. The thing is, it's so expensive, so you can't just keep adding it on. It's like $800 later. That's not true. It's never been $800. We had sushi. We had a really nice sushi dinner, like at a really nice sushi restaurant. And then we waddled over to Shake Shack. And we each had a hamburger.
And we were drunk and on vacation.
Definitely, but still, like that's a lot.
In Tokyo, like it's so bright and active. Like you just feel like you're just supposed to keep doing stuff.
You feel like you're in a pinball machine. That's my answer, is a big sushi meal and then a hamburger.
That was pretty good.
I mean, we go out with our friends. We have like with Greg or Waz, like we have nights where it's, I don't like, it's just like, we'll just find garbage tacos or Mexican food. Then there's popcorn. He's pretty good about shutting it down, and I'll just keep eating until someone takes my feed bag away.
Yeah, but also like, I will sometimes plan a night with friends out around a late night food thing. So like
that's the best part.
For my birthday, we like had, kind of a whatever dinner with a bunch of friends, but knowing that then you're going to go out for drinks and then go to an awesome taco truck at 2:00 in the morning. And I don't do it very often anymore, but it is a very, very, very fun thing every once in a while.
Every once in a while, sure. That way it's special.
I've noticed that, at least since I've had my babies, that I smell differently when I sweat. Maybe I'm just like getting older. I don't know, but I smell differently. And I don't love that. If I'm on set or if I'm on stage or if I'm doing anything like functioning in public and I don't want sweat stains or to be aware of my stinky, stinky pits, that's when I turn to Lumi whole body deodorant because it keeps me smelling fresh all day. Lumi is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, under boobs, right ladies, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, your feet. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. How? Well, unlike certain traditional deodorants that may try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack. That equals over 40% off the starter pack. Use code Iliza for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's code Iliza at LumiDeodorant.com.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
Robert Powell, why do you think so many good ideas for restaurants fail so quickly?
I mean, were they that good of an idea if it failed so quickly?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
the truth is, like, people don't realize how much goes into a restaurant, how hard it is to do, and all the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day. So if by the time a restaurant opens its doors, they might already be so far in debt that you're basically already screwed. That you tried to open the restaurant and then you started construction and it turned out there were all these issues hiding behind the walls that you couldn't have known about. And now you get delayed for 4 or 5, 6 months. And all of a sudden now, if you're not absolutely packed from day one, you're just going to be screwed. So the business side of it is really, really complicated. People don't realize that even very successful restaurants don't make as much money as you think that they do. The profit margins are really slim. Labor costs are incredibly high. Rent costs are going up. We are going into, I think especially in California, we're going to have a very tough little stretch of the restaurant business. I think you're going to see a lot of restaurants closing.
And why?
Because, like I said, I mean, minimum wage stuff is skyrocketing. The amount of staff it takes to make a restaurant work, all the prep cooks and dishwashers and servers and bussers and line cooks and all that stuff, it's expensive. And, third-party delivery systems like Postmates and Uber Eats and all those companies, they take a large percentage chunk of the money.
Talk about that, because I don't think people realize, because you're like, oh my God, my delivery's $80. And it's like, yeah, because the restaurant, isn't it like the same cut for every restaurant or something?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variation in the various systems, but for a lot of them don't let you change the menu price for a third-party delivery versus getting it at the restaurant. So then they also take sometimes whatever the percentage is preset to. Sometimes it's 20%, whatever it is. So your margins that are already not great on food are now cut down even more. And then on top of it, if you're tipping the Postmates driver, that means they're not tipping the host. So now you're busier because you're going through way more stuff, way more packaging, and your staff's not getting tipped out. So now they're more upset, and you're making less money on that food. And, obviously, as people mostly know, if you eat at a restaurant, and you order a drink, even if it's a soda, those are things that help your margins along. Meat is incredibly expensive, and you don't make nearly as much money on meat as you do on, rice and potatoes and alcohol. So it's a very complicated business model. And now with people doing more third-party delivery, you're making less money on that stuff. Meanwhile, rents continue to go up, food cost continues to go up, and minimum wage goes up, and labor goes up. And all of a sudden, you're barely scraping by, and you're working 100, 120-hour weeks as an owner of a restaurant, not paying yourself because you're trying to make the business work and you're struggling, and it's tough. I think you're going to see a lot more places closing, especially as, seems like the economy might not be going upward coming soon. But
I just wish you had more insight. Miss Seawood, cleanliness is next to godliness, as they say. What are some of the things you do to keep it pristine back of house? Also, what are some gross things you've seen kitchen staff do that you find unacceptable? She goes on to say, longtime fan, bought my mom. You said bought my mom, sister, and sister-in-law your book last Christmas. We all adore you.
Thank you. So great.
Kissy emoji. I kiss you back. Right on the mouth.
I mean, the keys to cleanliness, I think, in a kitchen are just making it a priority. Putting the rules in place from the beginning, training people properly. Not once any little thing slips, it just becomes a huge issue, and it just snowballs from there. One of the things I've been trained on always is like, one of the most important first things that happens is like how you organize deliveries and manage your walk-in. And that your walk-in is sort of your big walk-in refrigerator and freezer. And that is like the first step of the whole thing. And if that gets out of order and chaotic, then it kind of just bleeds into the rest of the restaurant. Little things that matter a lot. This is speaking of that book, Jeremy Fox, who's a mentor and friend and an incredibly talented chef. He's a big, guy for me. He talks about, having neatly folded towels in a kitchen. If you see a neatly folded towel in the back kitchen, it's there on purpose. If it's crumpled and it's in a pile somewhere or it's off to the side, you have no idea what it was used for. That could have been used to wipe up a grease stain. It could have been used to, wipe sanitizer or degreaser on something. And now you don't know whether it's clean or what it's been used for. So, organizing a kitchen so that everything seems like it's there on purpose versus chaotic. I always say that ideally you want to be able to have been on vacation for a week, walk into a shift and know exactly what you're supposed to be doing because the kitchen is in order, lists are in place, people are doing their jobs, and you
precise.
Don't have to just like have been there every day for the last 6 weeks to know what the hell's going on.
Lar Habermel, what food trend or gadget do you wish would go away? Let's say food trend. Let's do that one.
Jeez.
Think about that one.
Food trend. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm not that in the loop on trends these days.
You showed me that Reddit thread that's like food not on plates. There's like a Reddit.
It's called like, can we have plates, please, or whatever it is.
It's just like restaurants serving food on anything other than a plate, like on top of a wine glass, in a shoe, on a board, a piece of wood.
Those are just very funny, too.
I think, you know what you always make fun of? Like liquid nitrogen desserts.
Yeah, I mean, it's that thing where it's like I think every trend can have its place. And usually if there is a trend, it's because somebody did an amazing job at it first. Mm-hmm. Like I've never had a Dominic Ansel cronut, but I assume it's great, but I don't need one from Winchell's. Like,
no, it's excellent. Like it was a game changer.
To me, I guess the trend that I want to stop is shitty knockoffs of good things.
Yeah, well, good luck. It's going to be a long life. C14 Fish, what city do you think has the best food? Let's say it at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Charleston, Tokyo. Charleston, Tokyo.
I just love Tokyo. I think Tokyo, if you were just to walk into any restaurant at random in Tokyo, you have a better chance of eating well there than I think any other city.
But U.S. city.
Yeah, I mean, Charleston is amazing. In the U.S., I think my two favorite cities to eat in are probably Charleston and Portland.
Ooh, yeah.
Portland, I just love. Iliza had to be there she was shooting these brilliant Pete's Coffee ads.
Thank you.
They're not sponsoring this podcast, but
soon one day.
But they sponsor our lives. And she did these amazing ads, and basically I had a full day alone in Portland while she was shooting, and I just basically walked around by myself eating at like 10 restaurants, taking like 40-minute walks from one part of town to the other and stopping in to drink a craft beer and then have a bite of food here, and ate I think some of the best fried chicken I ever had in my life is at a bizarre little dive bar in Portland called Reel 'Em In, and it's notorious for taking forever. If you go there at 1 a.m. on a Saturday night, your fried chicken might take 3.5 hours to get out to your table.
Cool.
And even alone at the bar on like a Wednesday at 2 in the afternoon, it took about 40 minutes. Literally, the bartender fries the chicken behind the bar. It's the craziest setup in the world.
Portland's like all your cool friends who care about food, and they all move there to open restaurants. Everything. There's so many great restaurants. Everything's you don't have enough stomach space for Portland. Like it's just you want to stop into every shop, every restaurant, have a bite, and move on.
And while we're talking about Portland, I just want to say that Lovely's 50/50 is a pizzeria that I went to there that just like totally floored me. Totally different style from any other stuff that I'd had before. Not even a style that I would personally think of that I would want.
What was the style?
It's really kind of her own thing. Sarah Minnick is this kind of just genius chef who it's this total natural starter sourdough, wood-fired oven pizza. It's not that like carbony, blackened, charred crust. It's all kind of bready, but it was totally crispy and pliable and like it didn't crumble or crack. And then she uses these just amazing local combinations of produce and edible flowers and all this stuff. And I was
Lovely's 50-50?
Lovely's 50-50.
Lovely's 50-50. KT _ Olet. How long did you date Iliza before he introduced you to Blanche? Was it love at first lick for Blanche? Does Iliza have an EP of songs about Smokey Husky like she does for her little lamb?
I don't have that many songs. They're more like
I said,
songs.
do I? Have songs that I sing to you?
Yeah, you have songs that you sing like they're like songs that go with us together, but they're not about me.
They're songs that I'd be singing by myself.
Yeah,
sadly.
and I'm around now.
You met
I met Blanche the first night.
Oh, Lip. We used to call her Lip. You met her the first night, and I said to you, I won't have sex with you, but you can come home, we'll make out, you can meet my dog. And you said, okay. And I showed you the dog, and you weren't moved, but you were, of course, nice to her. She was nice to you.
Yeah, and to be fair, I was a little preoccupied by you at the time, and Blanche was great, but it grew into a deep and sustaining love for all of us.
You would take care of her while I was gone.
Yeah,
you were very sweet to her.
She was a great woman,
and you offered her structure, and she knew to ask you to take her out for walks.
Took her on longer walks. I tried to control her diet so she didn't just eat whatever she wanted all the time. I was just trying to get her to live as long as possible was my goal.
Well, you failed. Karen Mokaby, are y'all good tippers?
Yes.
He is an excellent tipper, and I follow suit. You both, because tell the thing that you're saying about tipping, better business models.
Oh, I don't know.
Go on now.
Tipping is sort of a bizarre custom that doesn't really make a ton of sense. But it's the custom now, and you can't really, it's very hard to get rid of it because to get rid of tipping, it means you have to pay everyone more, which is fine. It's what would be happening anyway, but then you have to raise the prices on your menu. And if only you're doing it, then people just think that your food looks too expensive. They don't calculate in like, yeah, but it's only 20% more. We don't have tipping. I think there is an incredible discrepancy in front of house and back of house salaries and the way people get paid. And it's very arbitrary to me to have a customer decide that the one person they happen to talk to now gets to make a inordinate amount more money than people who are doing highly skilled labor in the back. And the way I sort of joke about it is like, if I talk to my dad, who was born in 1947, and I had a restaurant and there was an emergency and I was down a server and I was down a line cook. My dad, in an emergency with no restaurant experience, could fill in for the server and figure it out. And he could not fill in for the line cook. And it's a complicated thing. It's line cooks and dishwashers and prep guys are the backbone of the industry. And, servers are important too. And I think that they deserve to get paid well too. But the discrepancy is massive. And it makes it really, really hard to pay people what they're supposed to get paid. So yeah, that's my spiel on tipping.
Yeah, shout out to JM Ghost 123 who asked, "What's the one thing that would surprise someone about working in a restaurant?" Maybe I feel like we folded into that. It's a very complex thing. Not just anyone can throw on an apron.
And also, I'm a firm believer too that tipping doesn't actually make people better at their jobs.
I was a pretty good waiter.
Yeah, you were.
I'd be pretty good at anything I do.
But I think that they're like anything else. There are people who give a shit and people who don't. And the people who do are going to work hard at their job regardless of what it is. You don't, have a better accountant if you tip him more.
Right. The original Donald, ever been to a Waffle House?
Yes, I have.
Scattered Captain Peppered.
Scattered Captain Peppered. That was, I think my first time at a Waffle House was actually relatively recently in the last few years with our friend and someone who went on a USO tour with Iliza, Jared Neiman, who's a awesome guy and country music star.
You guys know his song. I can drink to that all night. It's the stuff I like.
He is a very fun guy to go out with, especially in Nashville. And I
still got the scar.
I eat my hash browns the way he does, scattered, Captain Peppered.
Scattered. Is that not a thing there? Do they say it there?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. I put it in an audition I had, and now I'm just like, oh, no, was it a Jaredism?
No, but that's just the way that he gets his.
Sure, scattered.
He also, Jared, this is unrelated to your question, but I was doing research for this project I was doing and wanted to try all these different fast food restaurants that only exist in cities that I haven't been to. So Nashville has a ton of them. So we went on this like big road trip together, eating at like 8 different fast food places just to try a bunch of stuff and see kind of what they're like. And as we left to go on the trip, he leaned over and said, "All right, let's go make a turd."
So gross. Sapphire_Ruby highlights Smokey Husky. My name is Shannon. I'm 28 years old. I'm a Sapphire and a Ruby. I've been single my entire adult life, and recently I've been considering joining a dating app. Oh my God, I thought she was going to say killing myself. I'm hesitant to join one because I still live with my parents, and I'm worried that it will scare any potential dates away. I've hooked up with guys before, but never had a serious relationship. I'm worried that my age, she's 28, living situation, and lack of relationship experience will lead to a disaster if I join a dating app.
I'll tell you
I
what.
know that you, excuse me.
Oh, okay.
I know that you two met on one, and I was wondering what encouraged you to join. Any advice you can give to this hopeless girl? You're not hopeless. You're a Sapphire and a Ruby.
I'll tell you this. Anything that is going to scare off somebody on a dating app would also scare somebody off in real life. And it's people sometimes would say to me like, "Oh, I don't want to go on a dating app. I want to meet people in real life." And I'm like, you don't have to choose between them. If somebody meets you in real life and they're like, "Hey, you want to go out?" "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on dating apps. I can't talk to you." It gives you more options. It gives you more people you can meet with. It also gives you a chance to get a little bit of a feel for somebody before you go there. And it's like, it's nice to, meet someone online and go out on a date with them. And it's like, you get to go to the place. You already know that they're going to talk to you. You don't have to wonder if they're married. Well, sometimes on dating apps, people are creeps. But like for the most part, like you're both there for the same thing. You feel it out. And I find that, once you go on a couple of them, you get used to it and you move on pretty quick.
It's not weird. It's not the 90s. It's not this like salacious, weird subgroup. And also like the comic goal, like we're trying to meet someone. Anyone that you go out with, they're like, "Look, I'm just trying to make friends." It means that they don't want to date you. Nobody's really going on there for like networking or like Raya has that feature where it's like just here for networking. No, you're here to see some hot tail. And then if she's ugly, you're like, "No, I'm just here to network." I think there's like this common goal. I remember, was this you that said this to me or another friend? Like these people went on a, what?
I love you.
These people went on a date and like they were like arguing. Like the guy was just like arguing with her and like the girl was like, "We're supposed to want to fuck each other." Like that's the goal here, is to like attract each other, not for you to be a pain in the ass. So you're there with a common goal, and I think you've taken one step. Once you're on the app, it's like, look, we're all admitting we're trying to meet someone.
And Iliza and I, we
don't use my name.
Lived for years within blocks of each other in the same neighborhood. We went to the same gym. We had a friend in common who was trying to set both of us up separately with people.
Our grandparents are buried in the same cemetery, we found out.
And we never would have met if not for the dating app, or probably wouldn't have. And it's, especially in cities, like there's single people who live 2 doors down from you that you never would meet otherwise.
That's what that song, that If You Like Pina Colada song, she ends up trying to cheat on each other, and they end up getting set up with each other. They put in the ad in the paper, "If you like pina coladas getting lost in the rain," and they both answer it like, "I do," and it was her husband the whole time.
Yeah, do it. It gives you a better chance of having it work out. Most times it won't. It only has to work out once, though.
Oh, that's true. Kyrie Cooks. How do you find time for dating as a chef? How do you continue to find time to date as a chef?
She's out of town a lot.
Cute you.
You fit it in. If you want to hang out with somebody, you find time. If you're opening a restaurant.
You hear that, girls? Straight from the horse's mouth.
Now, look, there were stretches where, if you're opening a brand new restaurant and you're working 140-hour weeks, like you're not. And those are real hours sometimes, by the way. That's not an elaboration.
Real hours. Real fucking hard.
And that's 20-hour days. But that,
Dick's
can't last forever, otherwise you pass away. So
pass away. But you heard him say it. I say it all the time. You make time. I'm a comic. He's a chef. And we found time. We had like a day that we were both free. He came to a show of mine on the first night. You can still do your things. You make it work. And then like the third date, which was like 3 days later because we went out all nights in a row, I was sick. And he came over. He brought me food. And I said, you have to sit on the other end of the room because I don't want to get you sick. He said, can I please be close to you?
I always have this like, I don't remember if it happened or it was just always in my head as an idea, but like the idea of like, cook yourself a nice dinner, you got it in your hand, you're ready to sit down, and then you get a text that says like, hey, want to grab dinner? You just like immediately throw it in the trash can and leave
You
the
did
house.
that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, hey, I'm ready to go out. And you'd be like, I'll be right there.
I probably put it in the fridge and ate it the next day.
I can't see you throwing out food. Yeah. Big, blonde, and proud. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Husky and Baby Arm and Scotty number 1. Me and my husband both work full time, but offset schedules. We don't share any days off together. We both struggle with cooking, with the cooking grind and trying to feed ourselves each other without having to cook 3 times a day. Any tips on recipes for cooking a decent meal in under 45 minutes for the exhausted working married couple? Thank you. Love you. Hope you like my handle. No dashes or underscores. Just how you like it.
One of the big things for me is using your downtime as an investment in when you don't have time. So in the cookbook that I wrote with Jeremy Fox, we do a lot of stuff like that in there, which, you know, some of it's more complicated. We call it like the larder section of like stuff that you can make that you can now have as throw-ins in the dishes that sort of pause slow cooked, long cooked things as ingredients to put in other stuff. But the other thing that I do a lot, I mean, yeah, there are some fast things, but the other thing that I do a lot is I'll cook something that reheats well. So I'll make like a really good pot of like a healthy vegetable soup. And then when it's later in the week and you don't have time to do anything else, you have this thing. And I always say that like when, you know, if health food is convenient, you'll do it. When it's not convenient, you'll end up doing something that's unhealthy and convenient because usually unhealthier things are faster and easier to do than something that's good for you.
You make kitchery a lot, and I really like that now. I didn't know what it was before.
Yeah, kitchery is really
Tell them
cool.
about how you know it.
I learned it from my brother who has been living on a place called Mount Madonna, this like very beautiful kind of cool, they call it an intentional community. It's kind of like a hippie Hindu place that my dad took us to when we were kids. And it's this sort of traditionally like Ayurvedic Indian dish that I think is oftentimes like, it's like the first food that like solid food that like the kids eat in India. It's like almost like baby food, but it's basically
Definitely is like baby food.
it's basically a rice and lentil porridge that you make. So you take ghee, which is clarified butter, or you can use oil or whatever it is, and you toast a bunch of spices in there. You fry up like black mustard seeds and ginger and
Sounds delicious.
caraway seeds and things like that, and throw in some turmeric and it sort of spices up. And then you throw in rice and like mung dal or lentils, like different types of lentils. Put those in there, they kind of toast them all together, and then just sort of slowly add in boiling water and kind of build it up until it becomes this like nice consistency, like soft yellow spiced rice and lentil porridge. And then we always eat it with like topped with yogurt and cool like Indian pickled stuff like pickled lime rinds and mangoes and hot sauce, which is not
all these
Ayurvedic.
fun little things, which is not Ayurvedic at all.
Hot sauce is not
City.
Ayurvedic.
Hot sauce is not. He lives in an intentional living community. I've been there with you, and it's this Hanuman temple, right? Hanuman?
There is a
Charlie
Hanuman temple.
Hanuman from
Yes.
Sons of Anarchy?
There is
Everyone's
a
super hot there?
Hanuman temple on the property. It's a big, beautiful property in Northern California with lots
And
of redwood trees.
Your brother's name is Jason, but on the mountain his name is
Shantam.
Punjari Shantamji.
Pujari Shantamji. He doesn't go by that much.
And
but
you were also given
Shantam
a name as a child there.
by Babaji, which was Pavan.
Pavan, and what does it mean?
It means wind.
Huge dick. Huge dick.
It means Ayurvedic thick shaft.
Yes! Order underscore traveler. What was the first RDU underscore traveler? What was the first meal you cooked for each other? Well, still waiting on my end, but
You made me toad in a hole.
yeah, like
That one
a
time.
year and a half. Yeah, that one time on your birthday, I made you toad in a hole,
Tasty times.
and you were like busy, and I was like, "Get in this kitchen, I made you something." What do I always say?
Tasty times call for tasty measures.
That's what I say.
The first thing that I cooked for you, if I remember correctly.
I remember.
Oh, it was pizza. That was the first thing.
Yes. This is very sweet, and I'm just gonna say it's a little embarrassing, but it's very sweet. Our first night together, so our first day, we went out, we got drunk, we went out, and as we were falling asleep, fully clothed, with a small woman in between us, he whispered to me, "Where have you been?" And I thought it was so cute. And the next morning,
I didn't do it in that voice.
No, you were like, "Where have you been? Where have you been? Where have you been?"
Excuse me.
Excuse me. And then the next morning, one of the first things you said to me was, "What are you doing for dinner tonight?" And you took me to your pizza place.
Well, we were driving. I forget why. I think I'd picked you up from your set or at the Comedy Store.
That second night.
Yeah, and I said, let's cook dinner.
Oh, you asked me, and I was like, let's make a pizza. And I didn't really know much about your love for pizza. I just thought it'd be like a fun, interactive thing to do.
Yeah, you wanted to get like a Ralph's pizza dough.
A Boboli.
And I said, no.
Is it Boboli or is it Boboli?
Boboli.
Yeah, Michelle calls it Boboli, and I want to hit her.
Garbaggio. So I said, no, this way. And we pulled up in the alley behind Prime Pizza on Fairfax, opening its third location in Burbank, coming soon.
Grab your
Very
slice.
delicious New York style slice shop.
Delicious.
She waited in the alley, and I went inside and came out with a cast iron pan, pizza dough, tomatoes, pepperoni, all kinds of good stuff, basil and mozzarella, and it's just and we made
At my
pizzas
house. I made pizzas.
at home. And then I think the next meal I made you was probably some form of a pasta.
It was pasta. Every meal for the next 3 months was just us drinking wine and eating pasta and celebrating how much we liked each other.
If you go through my Instagram feed, it's a lot of it's pretty much all food. But I can go through and it's like cliff notes of our relationship in my head. It's like, okay, here's the first time I cooked, fusilli at your house, and we were watching Frasier in the background. I think there is a photo on there somewhere.
Oh, definitely Frasier. I definitely was on a weird mental loop of Frasier for 3 years.
And I remember you helped me write a caption. It was
oh yeah, I told him your Instagram captions need cute emojis and they need to be curated better.
But the first one was we had some joke about it was a tossed salad and scrambled eggs joke rewritten as fusilli and something. I forget.
A joke that no one got but us. JLM Kit. You guys are super cute couple and seem really down to earth. How do you carve out time for just the two of you? Do you binge watch Netflix? You go on fancy dates? Talk about life goals? Any advice for newer married couples? Wait, can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
I think it's so funny. I mean, obviously, I'm the one giving out advice in my podcast, but just because we're married doesn't mean we have the answers. But
For sure.
we can tell you what we do and happens to work for us a couple pounds later.
Well, and also hopefully you guys have things you like doing together, because I would say do those things. But I think sometimes too, the benefit of having gotten married, in our 30s versus meeting in our 20s is you learn from stuff that you did in previous relationships and you've seen in other relationships that you don't want to do anymore. And sometimes it's just a matter of meeting somebody who you care so much about that you
Dearly, deeply.
that it's worth figuring out how not to do the shitty impulses that we all have in relationships and in ourselves.
Oh, you answered that in a very holistic, spiritual way. I meant sometimes we get drunk.
We do that also.
We've been doing it less, though.
For sure. That's just part of
We're too
getting
old
older.
now, and we made that shift where it's less liquor and it's more wine.
You don't drink that much wine.
I don't really I gotta be honest. It's fine.
But, we occasionally sneak a good one in there. But it's also,
You're very good about, you like this, you like to just be with me, and you're very low maintenance. So you'll come take a class with me. You are more amenable to just go do stuff with me, and I am not that way.
I try to be pretty open-minded about a lot of stuff. Some stuff I have a very hard time with. But
You don't need to do Pilates, but you'll go with me to yoga. You'll go with me to a class if
I
we're on
actually
the road.
prefer doing Pilates.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
You're
better
very
for
bad at it.
It's better for my core. I'm worse at yoga.
Well, we'll do more Pilates then. Okay, we'll do more Pilates. Shelly Girl 1105. James Beard advocated learning to tempt steak by how it feels to your fingers. Is that something chefs do?
Yeah, for sure. But you know what's better is a thermometer. Instant read thermometers are like one of the most useful things to have in your kitchen. This like
There you go.
This like myth of like if I'm a real man, I can touch a steak and know when it's done.
Stick my dick right in it.
And yeah, you can. I'm pretty good at that. If you do it enough times, you get good at it. But like ultimately, like a thermometer will do the work perfectly. And you know, if you want to not have a dried out chicken breast or Thanksgiving turkey, should we just do a whole Thanksgiving pod episode?
Totally.
Just
People, I
ranting
mean,
about
because you're making dinner this year.
for like 16 people.
I ordered it all from Erewhon last year. and
I was
nobody
in Texas.
cared. I know.
But yeah. So there's like you can like make a fist and you feel the little meat between your knuckle and your thumb and how tight it is and how stiff. So there's ways to do that kind of stuff. But like honestly, buy an instant read thermometer, not one of those leave in like 1985 like turkey thermometers.
You see in like cookbooks, yeah.
Yeah, like this, they will change everything for you. And look up, you know, the right temperatures to cook things at. When in doubt, I'm a big fan of Kenji Lopez Alt for Serious Eats. He has like really comprehensive guides where like you can look at pictures of like steaks at every single temperature and go, oh, I like it that way. And he'll tell you what temperature to take it off at.
Janelle L., what is the goddamn fork what way are the goddamn forks supposed to go when you finish a meal? Some imply done but it sucked, done but it was good, not done yet. It's like semaphore. Or do people use that anymore? And do the same go for chopsticks? I've never heard that.
It's you want it at what 5 o'clock on the if you lay it at the angle when you're done, isn't that what it's supposed to be?
Oh, it means help. I'm tied up under the table. I do know that you told me sticking chopsticks upright in your bowl is rude.
Yes, if like you're at a Japanese place and you stick chopsticks into your rice, it's kind of like saying "fuck you" to the people who made it, which you know is probably not the nicest thing to do. But yeah, to me, like I laughed once because I was waiting tables and someone had put their napkin on top of their plate, like crumpled up, and I went and grabbed their plate and they got like upset because they weren't done yet, and I was like, "All right, buddy, like that's crazy."
One of my favorite things.
That's the international sign of I'm done. Is I
for
put
like
my crumpled
because you
napkin
literally
on my plate.
throw in the towel.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is so you go into a Japanese restaurant, right? You walk into a Japanese restaurant. What's the first thing you hear? What do they say to you?
Irashaimase.
Which means
it's like a welcome, essentially. It's the equivalent of like welcome to my restaurant. There's a literal translation that I don't know.
And so for the longest time, I thought they were saying hi, and so I would say it back.
But wrong. So it just sounded like Iliza was just walking in a restaurant saying, "Welcome to my restaurant."
Like they're like, "Welcome to my restaurant," and I'm like, "Welcome to Mama Tamal." That's one of my favorite things because you're very funny. Captain Melissa, what was your first impression of Iliza?
I was about to just do a stupid joke about doing an impression of you.
Oh my God, I would love to hear that. Do you have one?
I don't.
Because I have one of you.
Yeah.
Restaurants.
It's pretty good.
Thank you.
Was that she's hot, and that was the first impression because you were
Right.
coming up the escalator.
What do I say?
Wearing jean shorts.
I was very short jean shorts.
That was the great summer of trying to have tan legs. Yeah, and we'd been messaging and stuff a little bit too, and so I obviously knew she was smart and funny, and I was very excited. But yeah, definitely, first impression was hot.
Oh, see, girls, this is how men are.
See, girls, be hot.
Last one. We'll do a second episode because we got a lot of questions here.
But also, I think personalities affect attractiveness too.
Yeah.
There are some like aesthetically attractive women
Where?
who I could not be less attracted to because like their personalities are just like grating and penis inverting and
It's always funny when you have that friend that you think men think are hot. I have this one friend who she's like the hot girl. And any guy I've ever dated, I'm like, yeah, they're going to think she's hot. And every time they've been like, your friend's a fucking maniac. I cannot be in the same room as that girl. So girls, just because society's like, this is the way to look, make sure you have 2 pigtails and purple highlights, doesn't mean men necessarily always find it attractive.
And there are so many different types of hot people. And there's different ways to do it. And the personality
Hot girls. Why do you always say people?
Because men are hot too.
Yeah, but not to you.
No, I
But
mean,
yes, true.
and it's just different types of people are attractive, and their personality is part of it, and who you are, and what it's like. It's there's a lot of ways to go. It's just trying to find the right person who matches with you.
Gotta find the right mix. We're gonna end on this one. Sam
We're
underscore.
ending?
What?
We're ending. Is it?
It's been over an hour.
Really?
Oh yes.
Wow.
Time flies when you're talking about restaurants. Last one at Nessie, the fired mom. The fired imam. How do you find your passion and then follow it? I'm young and I have a lot of things that call to me, but leaves me frozen with indecision, and I don't know where to start.
That's awesome that you have a lot of passions. That's rare. A lot of people's problem is they have none. If you're passionate about a lot of stuff, I would say try to do them all and find out which one you're the best at.
Yeah. I also think maybe you're misusing the word passion, because a passion is like this unquenchable thirst. Like you think about it all the time. It's burning inside of you. Like I have a passion for like 3 things, and there's other things that I'm interested in. I wouldn't say I have a passion for watching my 600-pound life, but I enjoy it. So I think you need to, if you're all over the place, I think you need to narrow it down. What is it that you think about the most? Like what can you not live without? What's your heartbeat? I know for Smokey, it's me.
Yes.
Yes, love. We got that from 90 Day Fiancé.
I hate that show.
You hate it.
I hate reality TV. It's just so not my thing.
I'd have it on and he would physically put his back to the TV and face the other way on the couch.
And watch basketball.
Grumpo cat.
It does not, I don't have that desire to watch like angry fame whores. Like it's like,
Even as you're saying, your lips are curling in
I
the
hate
way.
it.
Oh, I'm
It's-
sorry. I'm so sad.
I don't like being around it.
Okay, well, you don't have to be.
Get it away from me.
Okay, take it easy. All right, let's get to Top of the Cob because it's my favorite part of the show. Hit it.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
My Top of the Cob. We took a trip to Vermont recently.
Oh, great. You're going to steal my top of the cob now?
No, it's just the part of it. And I indulged in 3 hot toddies a night. I am not really a whiskey drinker. I guess it was bourbon, and I chugged them down like apple juice. And you can't serve it. I've had many a Christmas party where I have like a warm mulled drink that I shove down people's gullets, even though it's 80 degrees outside. It was tasty, and I was drunk. And then I ate a whole Hershey bar. But a hot toddy, I never was into it, and boy, oh boy, do I get it now. Quick, Top of the Cob.
Along those same lines, I love when you get to be in a place that specializes in something and then it actually also is great. Like we were just in Vermont and I was so excited to just like eat smoked Vermont ham with Vermont cheddar and like with a Vermont apple. I just was like, it was,
Yeah.
I put cheddar on everything over these 3 days.
You really did.
It was amazing.
It was great. Vermontanian.
Vermontonian.
Bottom of the Cob.
What if the top of the cob was the bottom of cobblers? Would you?
Well, no, the whole idea is that the top of the cob is the cobbler is the best part.
Right, but what if I loved the bottoms of cobblers and that was my top of the cob?
Was I with you when I came across this in the first place? Or was it Hunter?
It
was you. It was you. We stopped at that Route 66 store, like on the way back from our honeymoon, I think. Remember, it was like all 1950s themed?
Uh-huh.
And they had cobbler
yes.
jars, and I remember thinking, like, who wants the middle? Everybody wants what's on the top of the cob. Anywho. Bottom of the cob, my neck hurts from texting, but I can't stop texting, and I don't know how else to hold my phone. And I think it's slowly killing all of us and giving me, as Mr. Burns would say, a mighty hump. Soon you'll have a mighty hump.
My bottom of the cob is people talking about bringing weather with you. I don't know why this annoys me so much. It doesn't annoy me that much, but it seems like it's like, oh, it's snowing up here. You're going back to LA in the fall. Wish you could bring this weather with you, huh? Or it's like you go somewhere and it starts raining and it was raining where you just came from. Like, oh, I guess you brought the rain with you. Anyway, that's my bottom of
Guess
the
I
cob.
have to punch you now. It's just small talk, just aphorisms, small talk.
I don't mind talking about the weather. I just don't like talking about magically having it follow you around.
I wrote a joke in a special a very long time ago, just how if you are a foreigner, like if you're from another state and you're in a different state, you cannot say anything about the weather because the local person, you're like, wow, it's really snowing hard. Oh, this is our summer. You fucking loser. That's what they're saying. You got lily livered and you can't handle our weather.
Oh, can I give a second bottom of the cob? This is a real deep cut that drives me actually angry. Okay, this is for a very small subset of people.
Is it just your friend James?
No.
Okay.
All right. So NBA League Pass is a service you can pay for that allows you to watch out-of-market NBA games. You can watch every NBA game that's not on national TV. It's great if you want to watch lots of basketball. I'm a big basketball nerd. They added a tier of it, which is commercial-free, which doesn't exist because NBA games have timeouts. They have halftime. There are commercials. They're saying you get to watch the in-arena feed. But then what I discovered is that if you don't pay for that, they're adding commercials over the gameplay.
Making that money.
That is infuriating.
Yeah.
You're adding, it's like airline crap where they're like adding a feature like you get to pay for a window seat now.
If for $20 extra, we won't punch you in the teeth. Shouldn't happen anyway, you know?
So, that NBA League Pass thing pissed me off. I'm trying to watch my game, and they're going to show a commercial during gameplay instead, watching it load, and I got to watch. It's usually the same commercial again.
Yeah.
That lady in front of a mortgage sign.
That being said, last night we're in this hotel, and I'm in the other room reading a book, and it's so sad because Smokey's in here with his laptop, his like little headphones plugged in the laptop at the desk watching his game, and he called me in to watch. What is it?
You were very upset about something, and I wanted to show you.
Something made me cheer me up.
Oh, what were their names? Somebody
Christian
and Scooby.
and Scooby.
Christian and Scooby. It was the halftime show of a Suns game I watched.
What's it? The Talking Stick Resort and Arena Casino?
Talking Stick Resort Arena. Another top of the cob for me is Monty Williams doing a great job with the Phoenix Suns this year.
This is not that podcast.
Okay, it can be.
And it was this guy who was on America's Got Talent, and he was this like Eastern European gymnast who had this tiny chihuahua that crawled all over him and did tricks. And Smokey was like, imagine you're that talented, but you still need a dog. Tiny chihuahua who packed himself up at the end. It was very cute. If you live in Arizona, you've seen it maybe.
So you're saying you don't want to have me do a bunch of information about this current Sun season and like how great Aaron Payne is?
Episode 2. I'm going to plug your book. My husband wrote the James Beard nominated book on vegetables for Chef Jeremy Fox, who also did the menu for our wedding. It is a beautiful book just to have in your home. What else should we tell them?
I know that you keep my identity a secret, but you can. What do I?
At Galuten, Galuten. There is a reason we kept our own last names.
And sometimes I post goofy videos of my wife.
Yeah.
But mostly it's food.
One day when we've been together long enough, you will release the compendium that you've put together of pictures of me sleeping.
Oh my God.
I sleep.
Some of those are not for public consumption.
I sleep like I've been pushed out of a window, and Smokey Husky takes pictures of them. And thank you for being on my podcast. Thank you for knowing so much about restaurants. We didn't have much, just fried grits, cheddar biscuits, cold comb ham, turk time fried, small oysters, apple cobbler, blueberry grits, and pork sandwich.
This Thanksgiving, Butterball wants you to really connect. Let's get back to laughing around the table, sharing stories, and making memories. Let's talk like we used to. We'll help with the turkey so you can enjoy being together. Visit Butterball.com for turkey tips.